Okay. Say hello. Where are you from? Who's painting with you? Are you eating chocolates? Are you drinking wine? Are you having some tea? What are you up to? How's the weather? Cecilia is here on YouTube. Jenny is here. Hello. Cindy says hi, everyone. Carol is here from Tennessee. I love doing my hellos in the beginning. I'm going to do this while I pour my paint. So I'm going to run through the paint now as people come in, and I will run through the paint again. I am going to pour some burnt umber, white and blue for the background. If you're just coming in, I'm just starting to pour some paint. Paula is here from Alabama. Oliver, BC, Highlander. Eating a pork chop, so-called here in Kentucky. That's awesome. Thank you. I don't know. It just shows Facebook users. So I don't know who you are, but welcome, welcome. It's chilly, rain, having coffee. I'm ready to have fun. Oh, Lydia, that sounds awesome. Saskatchewan is in the house. Hello, Maureen. It's really jumping very fast. So if you're asking a question and I miss it, please ask again. But in most cases, someone in the community answers. You'll notice that we have a pretty amazing community here at Zales Art. Christine, how are you? Watching from Tabor, Alberta. Liz is here from Tennessee. Joy from Calgary. This is a nice thing you are doing. This is similar to how I got my start in painting. This is awesome, yes. Facebook artists, I love that. Nancy says hi to everyone. Robin here from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, welcome. Love this little painting. Will this be recorded? And can I do it at a later date? So it stays on Facebook for 24 hours. So I go live once a week. The painting, the video stays on YouTube and Facebook for 24 hours, and then it moves to the Paint Night at Home membership. I haven't poured paint yet, so I quickly need to do that. I'm joining you tonight for the first paint night with my grandchildren, Laurel and Hudson in Kelowna. Hi, Marjorie. Welcome, welcome. How fun to paint with your grandkids. I love that. This is such a fun family activity. If you are painting with family or friends in one room, I always suggest that people connect their paintings. So when we start painting the horizon, the line at the back here, this one, go put your canvases next to each other. So when you do your lines, they all connect to each other. So even if everyone goes home with their painting, they'll always remember that their paintings are connected to those who painted with them. So if you're painting with your friends or family, connect the horizons of your painting. It's such a small thing, but it's so precious to do. I am adding all the colors right now, and I'll run through it in a minute. I saw the question, which blue? I am using phthalo blue. Phthalo blue with the burnt umber is pretty neat. And it actually became part of the painting by accident. I was doing a team building event one here, and one of the women was talking so much. It was so sweet. And she was painting and she dropped some blue paint into the brown background. And it just became part of the painting. And the snow was also added later. I have the original painting back here, and I'll show it to you in a minute. So you can see how the painting has evolved. And I will give you some ideas that you can add to the painting, because normally when the painting session ends, I encourage you to paint for another hour. You don't have to just paint for the little bit of time that we have together. Oh, this one's still sealed. How's that? And I need so little, so I'm actually just going to keep this little bit for red paint. You need so little red or just pink. I think I have everything. Oh, and I need a little black. Very little black. And I'll start running through the colors in a minute. We have 328 people online. We'll see how many more still joins. All right, let me share this in my group. Technology. If you're asked a question, please ask again and I will try and answer. Great ideas for that line to connect the painting. Do you draw with a pencil? Or Jenny, I just start with the brush. I hardly ever do a pencil drawing when I do my paintings, unless I have a stencil that I'm using and I'll trace. But in most cases, I like to jump in with a brush and just go in and do my lines with the brush. Share to group, and this group and that group. Perfect. If you are in the acrylic paint beginners group, I just shared it in that group too, and the Zealous Art community group. Phone away. All right. Let's take that off. You can still say your hellos. Rose is here from Texas, Karen here from Arkansas. It's so nice to see where everyone's from. Wendy from Saskatchewan, Canada. Wanda Star, welcome. She says, it's been a while since I've painted, but I'm happy to be back here tonight. That's so neat. I got so many messages from people that painted with me last Christmas season, and they can't believe it's been a year since they've painted, which is crazy. So this was the original painting from when I just started, and it was in my cupboard for the longest time because he didn't have a hat on, and I couldn't figure out. I wanted him without a hat, and then I wanted, and it changed. Anyway, so this was the original painting, and this is how it's evolved over the years. So since then, people have painted lanterns, hanging down Christmas ornaments, changed the tree up, did a family of snowmen. So I'm going to guide this painting, this one here, but don't hold back. If you feel your inner artist want to come out and you want to add things, just go ahead and do that. For paint colors, I use back here, I have burnt umber, phthalo blue, and white. My tree, I have some green, emerald green. Tonight I'm going to mix up my yellow and my blue to make some green. You need a yellow or a golden yellow, maybe some yellow and orange mixed for the star. And then for the snowman, I have white, a little bit of blue in here. I use brown for the arms, the sticks, some black in the hat, orange for the carrot nose, a little bit of red and white or pink for the cheeks, and some black for black for the little buttons. Let's get the paint out of the way. I think this is good. Are you guys ready to start? So for those who don't know me, my name is Frida, and I do fun art, not fine art. So you can relax, have fun, try and focus on the experience, have loads of fun, and try not to focus on that end result. And you'll see when you get up and step away for a minute and you'll come back and then look at the end result, you'll feel a little different than when you're constantly just focused on, I want it so perfect, or because you're not going to have a good time if you're too focused on making it look like mine or have too many expectations. So let it be an adventure of discovery. If you move the paint around, we don't have the same paints. We don't have the same brushes. You haven't maybe painted with me for a long time, so you're not sure how things will look. Just let it happen. And if anyone asks, just tell them, I planned it that way. Let's see. I did see some questions. Melanie, Amanda's asking if you're painting. Thank you very much. I'm going to say Emily for that message. Where am I from? I am currently in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, but I was born and raised in South Africa. Carson is here. Hello, my friend. I'm good. How are you? All right. So wet your brush, take a deep breath in. We're going to start with the horizon line. So this is where you get your family or whoever's painting with you. So you guys can line up your canvases and get those horizon lines connected. So neat to have everyone's paintings connected in just that horizon line, right? So bigger brush, we're going to start off with our brown. So you could have a brown that looks more like this. You could have a burnt umber. You can, whichever color you want to play with. I have seen people use a gray in here, so black and white instead of the brown, but have fun choosing your color. My brush is slightly wet. So in the water, tap, tap on my towel, and I'm going to pick up my color. I have burnt umber, phthalo blue, and white. This is what I'm using for the background. Pushing down with just the tip of my brush, picking up some brown, both sides of my brush. Not too much paint, like that. I'm painting on canvas paper. So it's just stuck down with some painter's tape on a 11 by 14 canvas, sorry. Right, so big brush, take a deep breath in. You're going to paint this line over here, and we're going to work our way to the top. Right, just on the side, I like to go about a third up. You're going to go up and then down, and that's how you're going to connect your canvases if you're painting with someone else. Very easy. Are you guys breathing? Don't forget to breathe. All right, so now I'm going to start spreading out the paint a little bit. And then I'm going to start picking up some white paint. So I'm not picking up more brown paint. There's more than enough on here. Picking up some white paint. Right above this line, I'm going to start with some white paint. And then I start blending the two together. And yours might already look a little different to mine. This color is so different to that. So this one is about 7 or 8 years old. And the same brand of paint, but the color is slightly different. And I'm okay with that. I also feel like it dries a little different. And you don't want this to be too light up here because we want our snowman to stand out and our little snowflakes. So add a little bit more brown if it's too dark. Keep dragging your brush. And then here and there, you can start adding in some blue paint. So when you do this, I like to do long stretch out brush strokes. When I pick up a little bit of blue paint, my phthalo blue goes very far. So I'm going to go with the tip of my brush, just like this. I'm going to start adding it in on this side and start blending it in. I run out of paint, I go back to the brown and white. I have both brown and white on my brush, just like that. And this is where you slow down, breathe a little slower. Look at how the paint goes off the brush onto your canvas. I grabbed a little bit of blue again. You can make it as blue or as brown as you want it to be. If you have a box canvas, so you can wrap your picture around the edges. So drag it and then go take the color all the way around the edge of your canvas. want a little bit of blue down here, so I'm picking up a little bit of blue, very little, you can see, and I'm just going to drag it here. So the more you move your brush, the more the color is playing. Less movement, it will be more streaky. And I'm going to bring it closer so you can see what it looks like. And lots of people ask me how much the paper warps when you paint. On the video like this, it looks far worse than what it is while you're painting. But it does warp a little bit. But when it dries quite flat. So canvas paper is a lot of fun to paint on, but know that there will be little bits of, it looks like bubbles, the warps, but don't let it, it's not that bad as it looks on the video because it shows a lot of shadows. I have a lot of lights on in here, right? But it's not that bad. And it's not hard to paint on. You see how easy the paint flows. I'm in southern Manitoba, Canada. Hi, Ophelia, welcome. What is the tape on the edges? Just painter's tape. So big painter's tape, big roll of painter's tape that I use. So I put it down and then I just use some tape to put the paint down. If you are new and painting with me, just take a breath and paint slowly. What happens is right after I post the video and then you can go back and pause. If you are blending away and you're having fun while I'm moving on, don't rush, ask questions, and we will answer you or someone in the community will answer you. Oh, yes, Jenny, you can use a little bit of purple instead of blue. Christine, I don't know. 115 is the, here it is. So that's what it looks like, canvas paper. And if you're on, if you go back into the event where I have the supplies listed, there's a link to the Amazon store where I make suggestions, and I've added that paper in there because so many people are looking for it. You'll see it under the suggested items. Oh, Judy, I'm sorry you forgot. Add me to your calendar. All right, so don't rush if you're not there. Take your time. The next thing we're going to do is add in some white, and then we're going to add another hill where our snowman's going to stand on. So adding in, and it's not bright white. I do add a little bit of brown with it so that it's a little bit not so bright white. I want my snowman to have more bright white. The sky is reflecting on the snow here, so I add a little bit of brown with some white, just so that it's a little bit darker. So I'm mixing up some white and brown, and then I'm going to go right under that, and I'm just going to paint that in here. And I'm still using my bigger brush. You can see it's not bright white compared to that. It's a little bit of an off tone, not too bright. I'll leave my red paint over there. And then you just use the same darker color to add this little line at the bottom. It's a little darker at the top and then lighter as it goes down. Now, I still haven't washed my brush. I'm still using it with all that paint on there. Just take it slow, don't rush. And if yours looks slightly different to mine, it's all good. If you are painting and your paint is not sticking to the canvas, it takes it's really hard to spread it out sometimes by just weighting your brush a little bit. So go into the water, tap, tap. Maybe have your canvas flat and then use some water to help spread the paint. If you are on an easel and you do that, the paint might start running. But if you're flat, you can use a little bit of water. So I would wet my brush, tap all the big drops out. You can even just touch the paper towel to get some of the big drops and then just help to spread out the paint a little bit. I do find at one stage I bought Michael's canvases from Michael's, and even during the lives I was talking about how coarse it was and it was just sucking up all the paint. It was so hard to paint with. And we all just started using a little bit of water just to help stretch out the paint a little further. I like your snowman. He is happy. He's a happy little snowman. Yes, that one's quite happy too. I'm Pat from South Dakota. Hi, Pat. Welcome. I want to see if I missed any newbie here. I was much of an artist, but I try. Thank you for sharing. Heather, you are most welcome. Thank you for doing this. I'm so excited. Deb, you are most welcome. I'm just watching. Next time I'll paint. Oh, Amanda, that's so exciting. Cindy, if you want to catch up, I can quickly talk you through it, or you can watch now and paint later. So for those who came late, oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. I started off with my big brush, the darker color first. You drag it out at the bottom, the darker color, then picked up little bits of white paint and started spreading it out. When I was about this far up, I started grabbing some blue paint and I started bringing in some blue, and I kept going with the brown and white all the way to the top. Later, I added a little bit more blue down here, but that's how I did the sky. Then I painted in some lighter colors here, which is just a little bit of brown with the white, and then I used the same colors at the bottom here. But drag out your brush, long brush strokes, a little bit of paint. It doesn't have to be thick paint. And if you are ready to move on to the first steps of the snowman, just type ready, and then we'll move on to the next step. This is a 1-inch brush, I think. This is a size 12, but I think this is the 1-inch bigger brush. I like all the varieties. Look at this. Oh, Rohini, thank you so much. And thank you to your hubby too. I like how many people are just watching and to paint later. Thank you, Teresa. That's a far drive. I know a lot of people have been wanting to do the paint nights, but they don't have someone in their town. So it's nice that we can do it online. Okay, I see lots of readies. So if you're not ready to move on, don't rush. Take your time. But I'm going to move on to the first steps of the snowman, and then we'll do the tree, and then we'll finish the snowman, and then we'll do some snowflakes, not stars. No stars tonight. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, let's do snowman. So snowman starts with 3 white balls on top of each other. So I was born and raised in South Africa. When I was in grade 1 was the first time I saw snow. When my kids were in grade 1 was the first time, my oldest was the first time he saw snow. And then we came to Canada when my youngest was in grade 1, and he's seen snow every year since then. But anyway, we could never make a snowman in South Africa because the ice would, but if it snows in the morning, it's gone in 2 hours. Like, it melted so fast. So when we came here, we spent so much time making snowmen. And not long after, I was teaching people to paint snowmen. And it is so much fun to make them and to paint them. All right, so we're going to start off, we're changing brushes. I am going with a medium-sized full bit brush, and this is a size 6. So sometimes I use a size 4, sometimes I use a size 6, but that's about the size. And we're going to use just white paint right now. Just white paint. And you're going to paint 3 circles. And I want to show you how you're going to paint them. I need a canvas to show you. I've painted on the back of all of these. Oh, let's use this. I'm going to use this to show you how you're going to do the circles. You're going to use your medium-sized brush, or you can use your small round brush. The circles are not going to sit on top of each other, so you don't want them to paint them. I am very shaky tonight. You don't want them to sit on top of each other like that. You want them to sit inside of each other. So you're going to do a bigger circle like this. That's going to be the bottom. And then the other circle is going to sit inside of that one. See how it crosses over here? You can do it rounder than me. And then you're going to do the other one on top. They all need to kind of sit inside of each other, because as soon as you throw that snowball on top of the other one, they kind of sink into each other. They're heavy. So you want to paint them sitting inside of each other like that. Right. And you do it with white paint. So my brush, some white paint, take a deep breath. If your white paint is a little translucent, some of these lines here will come through. Don't let it bug you now. We're going to come back and do a second coat in a little bit. All right, so don't worry about that. And you'll see that it's quite big. How big do you want to go? Kind of think about that before you start those circles. So head over here, body, and then the bottom here. So see, I don't use pencils. I just jump in with the paint. Don't overthink it. Have fun. Nothing fancy here. And then the next one is going to sit kind of in it. You don't want it to be. See how that's a little small? I want to go a little bigger. Nothing fancy yet. And see how the darker colors are coming through? You can see it there. Don't let this bug you right now. We're going to come back and we're going to do a second coat on top of that. And it doesn't have to be perfectly round circles. We don't want it too perfect. And the head on top. And that is all for now. We want this to sit and dry a little bit while we work on our tree. Easy peasy. I have seen so many different shapes of snowmen. I really like the tall, skinny ones. Always when I try it, I struggle a little bit, but there's one that I saw specifically that was hilarious when they were so skinny, but it looks so good. Mine's always very round and plumpy. And I've seen all 3 circles the same size. That looks cool too. I don't think you can mess up a snowman. Like, they need to be all kinds of sizes. Sandra, thank you for that message. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. Love seeing the snowman grow. He's so cute. If I missed any questions, just ask again, or I hope someone answered you. Joan from watching will paint later. That sounds awesome. I think I saw something. Did you paint the snow or just leave it white? I did paint it, Jenny. It is white paint with a little bit of brown. Are you talking about this here? So that is white with a little bit of brown. So I just toned it a little bit just so that it's not a bright white, because I want my snowman to be a bright white. What blue did you use in your other picture? This is all phthalo blue. That's phthalo blue, and this is phthalo blue. I think this one looks brighter because it had more white behind it. And this one's a little darker. Tamara, yes. For those who are struggling to keep up, I heard that Facebook now has a pause button, but I don't think it's in all countries yet. But if you are on YouTube, you'll be able to pause the video. But on Facebook, I think it doesn't work for everyone yet. Thank you, Joe. Patty says, someone who doesn't want to paint. My daughter refuses to try to paint because her mother-in-law painted such a great painting. I just try. I know we shouldn't compare, right? You should just paint to have fun and all that. But I know it's a struggle for some people. Like, no. I know of people that started painting with me and send me messages. They go, my friends always invite me, but I don't want to go because I'm so self-conscious and they don't want their friends to see their work. I'm like, oh, go paint, go have fun. Pam, yes, this stays on for 24 hours. All right, so let's do the tree over here. Don't rush if you're not there. We're changing brushes again. I'm going to use my small round brush. This is a size 6 round brush. I'm sorry, this is my size 2 round brush, which is the same size as the other one that's a size 6. So I don't know with these brush sizes, but you want one that has a tapered tip. Right, so we're going to do the tree, this piece over here, and then do the little branches out, and we do that with the brown paint. So darker brown paint, or I don't know, some people like to use black. I just use a dark brown. And what I do is I like to have it round about the same height up here as my snowman. So right there, right on top of the hill, just kind of sinking into it. And I start off with a straight line, well, as straight as my hand can make it. And then I start adding in more of the trunk. So do the line, and then I go back and I push down with my brush so it goes bigger and bigger. And then I make it nice and wide at the bottom, round it, and then go up again. It looks something like that. Almost looks like a bat of some sort. Like it needs a second coat. Like that. And then these little branches are just curved lines that goes out. They're shorter here and longer as they further down. So sometimes I just have 6, depending how big my tree is. Sometimes I have 4, other times I have 5 lines on the side. So I just start doing them and don't count, just start making them as you think. So I'm going to leave a little bit for the star at the top, and then I'm just going to do these little curved lines out like that. Don't overthink, just the tip of your brush. When you push down, you'll get thicker lines. Just the tip of the brush, you'll have shorter lines. So mine's not going to match because I'm sitting on this side looking at it this way. A little further down, a little wider out. And mine's a little, my hand shakes, so mine's a little wobbly. I don't fight it anymore. And I'm going to do another one. Keep track of where you put your fingers down so you don't smudge. Like that. And then the next one. I have 4. 8, but 4 rows down. There you go. I'm just doing a second coat with the brown. That's my tree and branches, the trunk and the branches. It's all because no tree is perfect, and they're all pretty. They sure are. I love taking photos of some of the trees and post them in a group that I'm in, because everyone wants their trees to look the same on the same side, on both sides. So especially down a river, when I go kayaking, sometimes you see the trees lean over the ocean, and the one side is so full of leaves. In the other side, there's broken leaves and it's dry, or broken branches and it's dry. And you can't believe that the one side of the tree is so beautiful, and the other side, I don't know what happens on that side, but they're not all perfect, both sides. Did you shade the snowballs? Not yet, Deb. We're getting to that. That is the other snowman. This was the original painting from, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years ago, and it's evolved into this one. So you can pick which one you like most. On this one, I can see my pen marks. I think I used a marker to draw this out. The paint's not blended. It's very interesting, but I love this one. And I think I drew it and then painted around it. All right, so then in here, we're going to add some greenery. I'm going to take a little bit of blue with my yellow to mix up a green. This is the same as the emerald green in my bottles. So just a darker green color. And to paint these, they are little curved lines that goes out from the tree branch. So I curve them out like this, like that. And then on that side, I do the same. And you cover all of these with these little lines. That's all they are. And we're going to add snow on top in a little bit, but there's a little closer look of this one. They're not matching. Look at this ugly one over here. There, look at that. So don't look at each one. Just make them. They all work together. Just breathe and Connie, thank you. She says adorable. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. You are most welcome. I know this is personal, but why are your hands shaking? I am interested. Hope you are well. I am good, Connie. I have essential tremor on my right side. So my hand shakes a bit. Sometimes my head will shake a little, my voice would shake, and my right leg will shake. So it's much better the last 2-3 years, but sometimes it's really bad. And it's not very noticeable, but it bugs me sometimes when I paint. But yes, so I have lots of people that paint with me that has essential tremor and Parkinson's and movement disorders. And you just have to paint and know that your brushstrokes are not going to be perfect. And sometimes I'll have a spasm or a thing and my hand just does its own thing. But it's been pretty good the last few years. So I think it's because I have less stress. So keep going, just the same little brush strokes on all these little branches. Nothing fancy. Yours might look different. You might do your curve the other way. You just want some greenery on the tree. Don't fight the tree. At first, when I started doing this tree, I wasn't fond of it, but it's so whimsical and fun and different, right? Like, I have to change it. I think that's why this painting stayed in the closet for so long. I didn't take it out. And then when people did see the painting, everyone wanted to paint it. So I brought it out and it became a favorite for these paint nights. I think I must have painted this one in one year, maybe 20 times in a Christmas season. And I've been doing this for 10 years, so many times. It adds beautiful uniqueness. Yes, it does. And I like creating on my iPad too. And on the iPad, you see it even more because it's such a smooth surface. So every movement you make, you can see it. So while I can paint, I will be painting and teaching. There we go. Look at all the green. So tonight probably because I'm shaking, my brush strokes are a little heavier. So if you're painting, your brush strokes might be heavier or yours might be lighter. So we have the green down. Can you believe we've been painting for 40 minutes already? You totally inspire me to keep painting. Keep painting, Debbie. Thank you, and I'm glad. Mary says she can't wait to do this tomorrow. I bet the paint is therapeutic and most of all, it enhances your passion. Yes. First time watching, I loved paint. Jacqueline, welcome. You are with the right crowd. We all love to paint. How do we rewatch? So Amy, as soon as I'm done, I post the video on my Facebook page and it's also on YouTube. So you go back to my Facebook name, which is Zallis Art. And when you go down the timeline, you'll see this video, or you can go to the live tab and you'll see the video there, but it only stays on Facebook and YouTube for 24 hours. All right, are we ready to move on? Don't rush if you're not there. We're going to let this sit a little bit. We're going to work on the snowman and then we'll come back and do the star on top of the tree. All right, so we're going to go back to our medium-sized brush and we're going to add the little bit of ice blue. Do you see the blue in here? We're going to add this blue into the shading that we see here. But to do that, we need to do another coat of white paint because ours could be a little bit see-through. So with your brush, nothing fancy, you're just doing another coat of white paint. And while it's still wet, we're going to start adding in the shading. So second coat of white. And now you can see a lot of that color that came through has disappeared. And when I add the blue, you'll eventually not see it. All right, let's add some shading. So with the white still on my brush, I'm going to pick up some blue paint. And if you're using the same Saks Truffaut as me, very little blue. This blue goes so far. So I'm going to pick up some blue paint on my brush, very little. See, hardly any on there. So I'm picking up, but I'm wiping off on the palette because I know how far this goes. And on the side here, I'm going to rub in some of this blue. So I put it down and then I rub it into the white. And you're literally rubbing it in because you want it to blend within that white. If you're doing this and you're losing a lot of your white because your blue goes so far, give your brush a wash, dry it off, maybe lift a little bit, maybe with your finger or paper towel, some of that blue, and then blend it into with some white. Right, so some blues go really far. Maybe you have a light blue like that you're using, but that's what I'm doing. For that area where it kind of sits into it, I kind of go around it like this, like that. Wipe my brush, and I'm going to blend that together. That looks like it sits. Can you see that? I'm going to add a little white here, so it looks even rounder. There we go. And then some more blue on this side and more blue on that side. Very little, not too much. I'll bring this one so you can see again. See, here is still a lot of darker blue, which still looks good. Don't forget to breathe. Are you guys breathing? I know some people stop breathing when they're painting. And again, I'm going a little lower. Like that. And then in the face a little bit. It's almost as if my brush is dry. Like it's very little paint that I'm blending in. The more you move your brush, the more the paint blend, less movement, more streaky. I like what it looks like on the canvas paper. It's really fun to try the canvas paper. I've been just a traditional canvas painter for the longest time. And I love the canvas paper too. And it helps for storage if you do as many paintings as I do. There we go. We got some shading going on. I generally do fluid pours. I'm in love with this though. I like that. I cannot wait to try this tomorrow. Thank you for sharing. You are most welcome. Laura, yes, use a blow dryer to dry it. Thank you for the tip, Connie. If you're at home or just as soon as you walk around with your canvas like that and it starts getting a little sticky, like the top layer, you should also get a good blend or be able to paint over top. Christine, yes, I'll take the tape off during the live when I'm done, so you can see what it looks like. Fluid pours are pretty, but I don't want to waste paint. Nancy says no. All right, so we're going to paint in the details for the snowman. So you're going to need a smaller brush. We'll do the hat first so we can then move on to the face. And for the hat, there's so many different ways to paint the hat. I like to put this line, the base down first, and then do the top on top. And I'm just going to use some black paint, nothing fancy. My small round brush. got some carrot on it. Right, a little bit of black paint. And which angle do we want it? A little bit slanted this way. I just do a little crooked line. How old is this hat? Something like that. And then I add the top. I like to make it, these days I make my hats narrower down at the bottom here and wider at the top. I like that look. Look at that. Maybe a little wider. Cute hat. So play with your hat, but this is just a rectangle line like that, and then I just add this. I let it dry, and then I'll come back and do a red ribbon and maybe some green holly or something on top. For the buttons, before we do the buttons, I would do the cheeks. I kept the lid of the red paint, so I'm taking a little bit of red to mix a pink. Some pink for the cheeks. This red goes so far. What do you use to make your snowman's cheeks pink when you do that? We used a spray bottle and colored water for our snowman. I don't know. I make things up. I'm from Africa. We do weird things. I don't know. Is that how you do it? And then my little brush. Barely touching, just go round and round on the, it's in the middle line, but on the sides I just do a little bit of pink. Tip of the brush, not too much. A little bit of orange for the carrot nose. And it's so tiny, I just do a little line when I get to the, I start in the center, and as I work my way out, I lift my hand so it's bigger up here in the center, and then as I go further, I lift my hand so that it's more of a little tip. There's the nose. And of course, it has a little texture. And then you can use the back end of your brush, so the back end, to do the little black rocks. For the smile, I like doing, because now I know they're going to be the same size. Do little dots with the back end. We don't want them perfectly round. When you do the eyes, I do them a little bit above the cheeks, closer together. Try not to make them too wide. Done that before. Round about here. It's alive. Look at that cute little guy. He's a little skew, but I like it. Wendy, if the background keeps bleeding through, Jenny said maybe it's not dry enough. Let it sit a little bit. So what happens is when you go with the color over it, it keeps picking up that the bottom colors. Let it dry a little bit. We're going to work on the star now, maybe work on something else and then go back to it. Some paints take so long to dry. Just depends also in the room that you're in. In here where I am, the heating goes on every few minutes, so mine goes on, dries really quickly. I like the nose. Yes, Janelle, you can watch this again. Can you see the face close up? He's really cute. He's a sweet guy. I think it's a guy. I don't know. All right, so I am going to use the tip my brush to do the bigger buttons down here And then I'm going to show you how I paint the little branches. So little buttons. And these are normally a little bigger than the rocks I would use there. And they're not perfectly round. And then when I do the branches, the arms, what I like to do is they are a little bit thicker closer to the snowman and thinner as they go out. So I push hard with my brush. And as I go further, I lift my hands so they can be a little thinner. See here, ignore that part, like that. And then when I do branch out, I go back onto the same line. So let me just do this. I go back on the same line and then I'll break out to do a little branch. Back on the same line and then I break out. So push a little harder and then drag your brush out. Try not to do too straight. I'm doing it really straight, but try not to have it too straight. And then go back on the same line and then break out. Back on it and then I break out. If I don't go back on the line, so if you do it like this and you just do lines like that for the branch, it doesn't always look that great. See how it's just lines, but here it kind of flows from the one line to the other. I like doing that. So thin out the paint, a little bit of water with my black paint, and I mix it up so it gets like an ink consistency. Roll the tip of my brush so all the bristles are back together. I like to have one finger down to help me a little bit. Push down. I like to also go up and not let them hang down. And maybe a branch over here, maybe another one down there. Big arms. And on this side, push down a little, start lifting. And that's going to be my arms. It's so fun. Are you guys ready to paint the star? I'm going to show you how to draw a star. Yes, Nancy. It tilted because it's a windy day. It's very cute. All right, so I'm going to show you how to draw a star. And this is a little different to how most people do it. But I like doing it this way. So you're going to go an upside down triangle like that. Here. This goes on top of your tree. And then I do a tall triangle at the top here. Like that. And then at the bottom here, I bring out two little pieces like this. Right. Like that. And then I paint it all the color that it should be. And when everything is one color, then I can make some of the pieces a little longer or shorter. I'll show you again. So that is how I do my star. And then you can make this a little bit longer. So upside down triangle. That's if you want it like that. There's easier ways. There's other ways to do it if you don't want it to be like that. Upside down triangle. Oh, this one's a little wider. Then on top, that one. And then at the bottom here, I do two to the side. And then you paint all that one color, and then you got your star. And I do that right on top with a little bit of gold paint or yellow paint. My little upside down triangle. And my yellow is a little see-through, so I'm going to come back and do a second coat on top. little star. I feel like my tree needs another coat of paint. He reminds me of Frosty. I like that. Right after this class, I do a little selfie that I post on my Facebook page, and I invite everyone to come and post their paintings that they've done. Some people spend another hour or two. Some people come a week later to come and post their photos. It doesn't matter. If you want to share, you can. But it's nice to go and sit later and scroll through and see how different everyone's paintings is. So I know some of you are saying thank you and already leaving, but for those who would like, please come and share. Please come and interact with others that have painted and see how different everyone's paintings look. All right, so we're going to add a little snow. I know I'm going a little faster now, but I'm going to post the video right now, and you'll be able to catch up if you're still, I don't know, maybe you're still blending the background. Who knows? Okay, so we're going to add some snow. So think about where would the snow accumulate? On top of the hat, on top of the branches, on top of this, the tree. So still my small brush. Lots of white paint this time. So normally I would say don't use lumps of paint, but this time we're going to use lumps of paint on your brush because we want that texture to sit. See how I have paint on here? And then you're going to dab on top of your hat like that, on top of the hat here, on top of the branches. And I literally go in and dab the paint on because it's going to sit right on top. A little bit less on the branch, like that. Over here, I still want to see a little bit of my branch on top here. And then when I do the greenery, I go in between a little bit, more little, like that, not too much into the green, in between. Here and there, I'll do a little bit of a line, and then I break it up again. Bringing in the white line in front of the trunk like that makes it look like this branch comes from the front. Oh, maybe a little bit on top of the star. I'm definitely going to give my star a second coat of yellow because it looks a little green with the blue behind the yellow. At the bottom here, I use some white paint just to do some lines. I'm going to do some shadows too. And around my snowman. Same brush, just a little bit of white. And then I'm using the brown to add a little bit of a shadow around my tree. Nothing fancy, it's just little brush strokes. And I like to do that at the bottom of my snowman too. It's a rubbing motion. Like that. Extra things you can do. Like I said earlier, you can have a lantern hanging down if you want to. Christmas ornaments. You can add a little bit of a red line into the hat. It is so small that very little paint. You can add a little detail in here. Sometimes I grab some of my green and add just a little bit of a green little mark here. Make it look like there's a holly. Can you see a little holly in the hat? a little bit of green. It's so tiny that just those little bits of touches helps bring more life to your painting. And then my favorite part is to make it snow. So normally if I'm in a room with 30 people painting and we say make it snow, the whole room starts buzzing and I can just hear the talking, the laughing. It's so neat. So I'm imagining that right now. But there you go, back of the brush, and you're just tapping away. And remember, the snow can be in front of your snowman, so make some, not just in the background, but also in front of your trees, and cover your whole canvas with snow. If you want to use a toothbrush to add snow, maybe I'll show you how to do that. I have a toothbrush here. By flicking paint, this is also a really neat way to get snow onto your painting. Wet your brush. Tap, tap to get the lots of water out. I pick up some white paint. I rub on my palette. This brush is really hard. A little bit of water, some white paint. You don't want lumps of paint to sit in your brush like that. You want a little bit less. And then you're going to pull back. So you're going to hold on here, and then you're going to pull the bristles back, and then you're going to flick. If you're in a very fancy living room, I wouldn't do that because it's going to go everywhere. So make sure you're aware of what's around you, and then you just flick it like this, and then you make it snow. And these are really neat. I like doing both the dabbing of the snow and doing the brush. And it makes everything so much softer by using the brush. Can you see how I'm holding it? We're pulling back, and you do get lots of paint on your fingers. There we go. Look at it. It's snowing. I want to show you a painting. So I just recorded this painting for the membership, and you can see that I flicked some snow and I did some dabbing so I can have some bigger snowflakes. So if you're in the membership, this one's there. But I wanted to show you, use both flick paint and then do the dabbing, because it looks neat to have those bigger snowflakes too. But that is your painting for tonight. Thank you for joining me. No, this is my membership, Nancy. It's paintnightathome.com, and it links into an online school with more than 120 videos. Right. Going to have to try the toothbrush. You're going to love it. Thank you so much. It was so much fun to paint with all of you. Take a deep breath. Put your painting away for a little bit. Don't look at it too much. When you come back, you look at it with fresh eyes, and you won't see it as a work in progress anymore. You'll see it more as a complete piece. Oh, Christine, I saw that. Yes, let's pull off the paint from the painting. All right. You guys wanted to see that. I'm going to pull that off so you can see. Very easy. You can see how pretty it looks. This is so satisfying. Which one's next? This one, I think. I'm so glad you typed that up, Christina. I am so distracted. I completely forgot about this. There you go. And that is our painting. That's a Halloween painting. There we go. And that's what it looks like. And now there you can see it looks far worse than what it is. It always looks so bad on the video, but now you can see. So now I just have to store this, and I don't have to store all the canvases. This is from Halloween. But yes, so that's what it looks like. Isn't it cute? I might use it as a Christmas card. All right. Thank you so much. Look out for the selfie I posted on my Facebook page, and come join me next week. Please share this video in the groups that you're in and wherever you are. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.